Imagine this. You arrive at the airport for a summer flight only to be stopped cold at security. A TSA officer says, "Sorry, you can't board," all because of a rule change you never knew about. Sound far-fetched? It's not. Major changes are hitting United States airports right now, and if you're not prepared, your trip could be ruined. This isn't the same old TSA routine. It's more serious, more high-tech, and frankly, more shocking. Today, we're breaking down the new TSA rules and airport measures of 2025 that every traveler must know before you head to the airport. Don't risk flying blind this year. Let's dive in because missing these updates could cost you your vacation. Number 1. Liquid limits may be ending, but not yet. Here's some hopeful news. TSA is actively testing the removal of the 3.4-ounce liquid rule due to their new CT scanner technology. In some international airports, that change is already happening. The United Kingdom, for example, plans to allow liquids up to 2 liters in hand luggage. However, the TSA hasn't lifted the limit yet in the United States, and likely won't for several more years. While the agency acknowledges the potential of CT scanners to detect liquid threats, it also warns that the full nationwide rollout could take until the 2030s or even the 2032s. That means most travelers in 2025 still need to follow the 311 rule. All liquids must be in containers no larger than 3.4 ounces inside a quart-sized zip-top bag. Don't make the mistake of thinking the rule is gone just because you've read a headline or passed through one modernized airport. Until TSA gives a green light nationwide, just assume it's still enforced or, well, you risk losing your items at the checkpoint. Number 2. Shoe removal may soon be history. Since 2001, taking off your shoes at TSA checkpoints has been one of the most frustrating and honestly unsanitary parts of flying in the US. But finally, in 2025, change is coming. TSA has begun testing new shoe scanner prototypes that use millimeter wave technology to scan footwear without requiring removal. Combined with upgraded HD body scanners, these devices could allow passengers to keep their shoes, light jackets, and even belts on while being screened. Number 3. Flying to Europe or the UK. New visa requirements could deny you boarding. In 2025, US travelers heading to Europe or the UK need to know this. You can be denied boarding if you don't register ahead. Starting around October 2025, the European Union will implement ETS, a mandatory online pre-clearance system for non-EU visitors. It's like the US ESTA. You'll have to apply online, pay a €7 fee, and be approved before boarding your flight to places like France, Italy, or Spain. No ETS approval? No boarding pass. Same goes for the UK ETA, launching for Americans on January 8, 2025. That system requires a £10 application via apps or website, valid for 2 years. It's not a full visa, but skipping it will cost you your trip. Most US travelers have never needed anything like this for Europe, so it's really catching people off guard. Airlines are under pressure to enforce it, and if you show up without approval, they'll deny boarding. So, check the rules before you book, or, well, risk being turned away at the gate. Number 4. CT scanners let you keep electronics and liquids in bags. TSA is now installing new CT scanners across US airports, and if you find yourself in a lane with this new tech, here's the big benefit. You don't have to remove your laptop, tablet, or 311 liquids bag. These scanners create detailed three-dimensional images of your carry-on items, helping TSA spot threats without the need for unpacking. The result? Faster, less stressful screenings. But here's the catch. Not all TSA lanes have CT scanners yet. Some airports are only partially equipped, so one trip you'll breeze through with everything inside your bag. The next you'll be pulling out cables, laptops, and tiny shampoo bottles again. It's causing confusion. TSA agents are trained to call out instructions, but many travelers are unsure until they're at the front of the line. Our advice: always pay close attention to signage and verbal instructions at each checkpoint. If you're in a CT lane, enjoy the convenience. If not, back to the old drill. Gap 1S. Number 5. AI is now monitoring you at airports. Artificial intelligence is quietly transforming the way airports manage passenger flow, and it already lives in places like New York's JFK Terminal 4. TSA and airport staff are using AI-powered systems that track real-time movement of passengers to identify congestion points, bottlenecks, and delays. Cameras monitor how long travelers dwell in certain areas, and algorithms instantly recommend opening new lanes or adjusting staff positions. The goal? faster, smoother lines, not just at security, but also at customs and immigration. While, some travelers might be creeped out by the eyes in the sky, these systems don't scan personal data or use facial recognition to identify you individually. Instead, they look at overall traffic flow. And according to early reports, the system is working. Wait times are decreasing, and staffing is more responsive. Still, it's a reminder that as tech improves, we're all being watched more closely. This isn't the TSA of the past. It's smarter, faster, and far more automated. Number 6. Real ID enforcement begins. Starting May 7, 2025, the TSA will officially enforce the Real ID requirement for all domestic U.S. flights. If your driver's license doesn't have the small gold or black star in the corner, it's not Real ID compliant, and you won't be allowed past the security checkpoint unless you show an alternative like a passport or military ID. This isn't optional or flexible. TSA agents have been instructed to deny entry at checkpoints for travelers using standard, non-compliant licenses. Millions of Americans are still unaware of this deadline or think they'll be given a pass. They won't. Number 7. Facial recognition is already at TSA. TSA facial recognition systems are now active in over 80 airports, and honestly, they're growing fast. At many checkpoints, your photo is taken and matched to your ID by artificial intelligence, all within seconds. The government says this improves efficiency and security. But here's what most travelers don't know. It's technically optional. You can opt out and request a manual ID check. But TSA officers often don't explain that clearly. And travelers report being misled or pressured into using the system. A U.S. senator even shared his own experience of being told he'd face a delay for opting out, something TSA later admitted wasn't true. Number 8. Digital IDs are now accepted at TSA. In 2025, several U.S. states now allow you to carry your driver's license or state ID digitally on your smartphone, like through Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. TSA has begun accepting these digital IDs at select airport checkpoints as part of a broader modernization effort. At participating airports, travelers can tap their phone at a TSA reader, confirm their identity through encrypted data, and then proceed without presenting a physical ID. However, this doesn't mean you can completely ditch your physical license. The rollout is limited, and not all airports or even all TSA lanes within the same airport support digital ID yet. Plus, if your phone is dead or malfunctions, you could be stuck. TSA strongly recommends carrying a physical ID as backup, even if you're using a digital version. For now, treat this feature as a convenient tool, not a full replacement. It's progress, sure, but still risky if you don't have a backup ready.